For sure. Obviously that's definitely a goal of mine, but at the same time, my goal is to win games. So help the team win and do what we need to do. That's the most important thing. Everything else will take care of itself. That's kind of the way I look at it. But if our team win, I think good things happen. So I don't, play towards or look forward towards. At the end of the day, I try to win games and help the team win in whatever way I can.
You guys talked about the importance of getting these benchmark games towards seeding for both the Big Ten and the NCAA tournament. Is that an internal conversation you guys have?
It's definitely something we talked about. Obviously, that win last night was huge for us. I think it put us in a double, triple bye. So that was the conversation that we talked about. Like, let's get this so, we can play on Friday and, we get more rest. And overall, it gives you a better chance to be successful in the Big Ten tournament. So that was definitely something we talked about and something we continue talking about. Like, every game is valuable, and the better you do, the better chance you give yourself in the playoffs. So obviously, you want to give yourself the best shot for something special. Thank you.
Some tough environments over the last couple of weeks and gotten some wins. What can you take from those as you head into Chrysler on Sunday?
That we have grown. We got better. We got a lot better and matured. I think a lot of the guys, we had a lot of young guys early on the road that never had a true road game and true road experience. So now that, Kerr, Jordan, and Cam, some of those young guys that weren't used to playing and being in those type of environments are kind of adjusted a little.
Carson just mentioned that guys have sort of gotten maybe more vocal as the season has gone on. Who on the team has sort of grown maybe more vocal as the year's gone on?
I think Jordan and Kerr. Those guys just try to talk and try to do the most they can. They're young, kind of a little bit of inexperience, but they try to get better, trying to keep growing and as a player and as a person. So
how does that communication sort of help you guys on the court?
It's huge. Obviously, me and Cohen, me and Coop, me and Jax, like us four guys, we can kind of talk and figure things out just from experience, being here, understanding, each other, game styles, defense and whatnot. So it's a little different when you insert different guys that, are new and don't, have that same rhythm, flow, experience with. So communication, takes everything away and it gives you a clear understanding of what you need to do.
What do you think one of the biggest differences of your all's team right now compared to where it was a month ago when you guys last played?
I think confidence. I think, our mindset. I think, that edge, that fiery, like just understanding what we need to do, how we can do it. And, we kind of had some success with the game plan and the scouts and, the way we do things here at Michigan State. So when you do it right, you can kind of see the goods in it. So just understanding that if you do the things right, you have a high chance of, something positive happen.
On Sunday, so.
I imagine
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've seen them again. You guys know that.
Yeah.
They know you. There's no real. They don't have Carson anymore, but.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. The last 3 games of the year, it all kind of lines up. We're playing the teams twice, so it's a little bit different mindset, and you understand personnel mostly, and a lot of the stuff's the same stuff. It's just going to come down to who's tougher. Thanks.
When we spoke to you after the last Michigan game, you said there needs to be like an urgency to get better. Do you feel like that's going to happen for you guys, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think our attention to detail in the practices and walkthroughs have been really good. The lead up to the Michigan game, we didn't think we prepared great. Had kind of lackluster effort and lackluster kind of energy in those practices and leading up to that game. So we made that an emphasis to continue to get better on. I think ever since then, the practices have been really good, and we saw some turnover, not consistent turnover, which is where we can take that next step to get better as a team. But we saw the turnover in a Purdue game, and we didn't see it as great in Indiana, but we figured out a way to win there, and we didn't see it great yesterday. We saw, for 25, 30 minutes of that game, But overall, I felt like we've done a great job transitioning and changing our prep and our energy.
You guys have gone into some hostile environments the last few weeks and gotten wins. What can you take from those taking to Chrysler on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, we played some damn good teams this year. With Duke and Michigan and all those guys being, being the powerhouse that they are this year. I think it's good for all of us. Even, playing at home versus Michigan and stuff and Duke, it's like, well, the guys know, what the energy is going to be like a little bit, and they know that, another top 10 matchup against these guys is not going to be easy, and that's the non-conference schedule too, where coach sets up for us and playing against those kind of teams, and where, the crowd isn't necessarily always going to be on your side. So ultimately, I think for me, I'm, being a fourth-year guy, the experience and understanding how the environment changes a lot is, beneficial for me. But I think, the younger guys are starting to get there, especially this late in the year, and understanding how to handle that.
Sort of drawing on that experience of, I've had, these games as you go into the tournament. I guess just what do you want to see out of these last couple of games of the year that you want to prepare yourself for the Big Ten tournament for the national team?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to be trending upwards at this time of the year. Especially under coach. This is the time where everyone gets better here. I think we're starting to see that from everybody. We got guys like Jax starting to get back to where he was early in the year, and Kurt's shooting the ball great, and even Denham. Denham had a hell of a game yesterday, and he's feeling good, kind of being that backup PG, and we just got to continue to have consistent production from those guys, and if we do that, then we're gonna our play is gonna kind of take care of itself. We just got to continue to stop hurting ourselves and killing ourselves, and we do that, and we kind of handle our own business, and we'll be in good shape.
How much do you think your team's mental and physical toughness has improved just over the past couple of weeks, even since that Michigan game at the end of January?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty good. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. I think that the way that we've approached it differently has helped that. Also, I think that having that loss kind of gave us a little bit of a jump start where we're like, all right, well, we can't lose twice to these guys. We can't lose at home, but it is what it is. So now it's it's kind of like what we did. We had to make a change, and we didn't just do that in practice. We did that in the in the film room, and having more guys speak up, and having a more a better player coach team than coach team, and I think we've done that ever since then.
Carson, as you take the last trip down to Ann Arbor with your team, what's some memorable moments?
Savor that, but also turn the page and get to see that.
You know what? It's a really hard thing because, for example, when we did a national anthem before the game, and when my great grandpa went out there in front of everybody, it was really hard to balance the emotions that I had right before playing a game. But if there's anything I've learned, especially my senior year, is to feel all the feelings that you have, feel all the emotions, embrace them, and instead of trying to suppress them and trying to, kind of move away from them, embrace them, and kind of let it fuel the fire. And that's what I did last night, is trying to, let that pride that I had, seeing my, 4 generations of Kohler out there, fuel my fire to go play yesterday.
And that's the ultimate fuel. How do you kind of get that for these last couple of games?
It's, it's, with the games that we have ahead of us, there's more than enough motivation to go around. And we need to make sure that we're vigilant in our last game of the season, and then in both tournaments we have to make sure that we're locked in and we don't make as many mental errors as we did last night, and that we all improve individually but also as a team.
What you have to do to change the result against Michigan, because obviously the start last time you played them was not what you were looking for.
Yeah.
You want to dig a 16-point hole or whatever against number one the top team.
Yeah, obviously last time we played them, we didn't have a great start, and there was a couple things, on both sides of the ball that we didn't do as well as, that we feel like we did a good job in practice, but we didn't execute in the game as well. But you know what? We have another chance to go against them at their place and execute things the right way. And we're more than excited to make sure that we have that chance to make sure we don't make as many mental errors as we did yesterday, because we have to take last night as a huge learning tool for us.
What would it mean you never want to get swept by your rival, but to go out there, to go in there and get a win, what would that mean for you guys heading into the Big Ten tournament?
It would mean a lot, man. It would mean a lot for all of us in a lot of different ways. It would, it's like you said, against our rival, it's always going to be a big game. And, they got us at our place, and we have to make sure that we even out the odds. And also, as for our seniors, we want to end it the right way too. But then also, more importantly, for our team, it would give us momentum going into bowl tournaments, and that's really important for us.
What do you think the biggest difference is between your own team a month ago, who played Michigan, versus now?
I think, what's different about them or us?
You guys.
I think for us, we have more experience. I feel like we had a lot more ups and downs, and we learned from our mistakes. We had games where we, made mistakes, especially against Rutgers both times, where we made, careless mistakes that could have cost us the game. And then we also had some good games, like against Illinois and Indiana. And I feel like we've matured since then. And now that it's March, we know that it's the last month. It's all or nothing, and we've really come so close together as a team. And I feel like those are our biggest strengths, since last time we played them.
After the Indiana game, Coach said he liked the way your team was improving in terms of mental and physical toughness. How have you seen that grow, and how much of that do you need on Sunday going into tournament?
We need it a lot. I mean, there's been growth from everybody. I mean, you've seen, for example, Cam has just been playing amazing, against Purdue and against Rutgers last night. He's been having some great games, and we need everybody to kind of, physically, buy in another level, but also mentally, because at this time, we all know that the pressure is going to be on, and there's going to be a lot of eyes watching us, a lot of expectations, and we have to know how to, keep the outside noise out and, make sure we have our game plan and our teammates and our coaches' voices, with us all the time, because those are the only voices that matter. Everything else is outside noise, and the more locked in we are on our opponent and our coverages, our game plan, the more successful we're going to be.